Hey, how's it going? Welcome to my front room. We are on for functional conditioning yoga with me, Ricky Stewart. Exciting times. We get to do some smart mobility and work out how best to use our joints, our muscles, our skeleton to be able to move through life with all of the strength and knowledge that you know what you're doing and you're fine. You can do anything. You're strong enough for anything. It just comes with a bit of practice. And it's kind of hard work. We have to put some effort in. The thing I like most about this class is that it kind of works no matter what your abilities. Even if you've got an injury or something going on, there's still a way to make this work for you. So you can just keep going and move around more. The important thing is that you only work up to your abilities. Once you've spent everything you've got, you're done. You've got to move on or rest or do less. So you've got to just be smart about what you do with your joints, the range that you work them in, and how to just limit yourself just a tiny bit. Remember that all types of training, no matter what, whether you're trying to be a bodybuilder or just trying to get a bit fitter, trying to lose some weight, what you're after is a little bit of adaptation from your body. Your body adapts to the stresses that you put on it, so that it can deal with the stresses that you put on it. If you don't push hard enough, nothing happens. If you push too hard, the risk outweighs the reward. And there's this little sweet middle ground where you're pushing your limit, but you don't hurt yourself. We'll talk more about that as we go. I'm going to try and keep focusing on feet and ankles because I feel like that's a super important thing for us all to have working nicely. So, if you just perch yourself right on the edge of any kind of seat, sitting cross-legged is kind of cool, and I kind of like that too, but we're just going to work on just sitting upright here. Relax your jaw. Relax your shoulders. Just see if you can expand your lungs. Draw your rib cage in. And try and get hold of our breathing and make it as natural as we possibly can. Then start pulling your rib cage just a little bit side to side. So kind of squeeze your rib cage down to one side and then down to the other. I like it best when this movement isn't interrupted by your breathing. And your breathing isn't interrupted by the movement. You just kind of work together. Going for a few more. Keep feeling how your spine is doing this. Then cross your arms over your chest and rotate. Just keep pushing up into these corners. Then try flipping your rib cage up and then pulling your rib cage down. So when I say rib cage, just try and think about this very bottom rib and see what happens when you pull it down and then you pull it back up again. And see if you can make it so there's not just like a little click, 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 click. There's every millimetre in between. It means that you're moving this around in a smart way. See if you can do this without your breathing interrupting the movement. Remember that this is all about doing that cat-cow on all fours. This relates to that. It's how we kind of learn how this stuff works. How to make the muscles in your belly, the muscles around your torso, make your spine work really well. You can try this that I'm doing just now. I've got my hands just behind my back and I'm feeling how it feels to contract these muscles in my back as my rib cage flips up. And feel how the muscles in my back stretch out as I contract these muscles in my belly. And there's a reciprocal motion from either side. So one side lengthens, one side shortens. The more we can get our head around this, the better this stuff works. There we go. Then coming down onto all fours. And try again with this same cat-cow. So you push your chest up, tuck your chin, and start from lower back to the middle of your back, to your neck, upper back, middle of your back, lower back. I'm after really specific spinal segmentation here. Keep your jaw relaxed, keep breathing. Last couple. Perfect. Then take a big step forwards. So you've got your shin nice and upright, look. So see how my shin is underneath this here. Let me just put this light on so maybe you can see me a bit better. And then I want you to go backwards and then pull yourself forwards. And then go back and pull yourself forwards. So when I say pull yourself forwards, I want this foot that's on the floor underneath you here to kind of pull on the floor as you pull yourself forwards like this. And then you pull yourself forwards. That's it. Just going a few more. And then last one. Yes. Okay. Let's try this on the other side. So this foot pulls you forwards. There. You're looking for this stretch as your hips go back into contraction as your hips come forwards. Try and get in control of every millimetre of this. Go. That's it. And the last couple. Perfect. Okay. Then when you take a big step forwards, I want you to land in forward fold. Just going to move for a little bit. So you land in forward fold, stretching these hamstrings here. So your back is kind of rounding as you bring your torso down. I want you to see if you can lift your collarbone just a little bit, like this. See if you can find flat back here and understand how to make these muscles in your back flip this bottom rib up. We've already practiced this. You can flip this bottom rib up, pull your shoulders down away from ears and still feel this hamstring stretch here. Then drive your hips through and back to upright again. Okay, so before we go into anything else, I want you to just get into kind of wide feet. Not super wide, so I'm not after a big stretch here, we're not practicing side splits. Just kind of wide with a little bend in both knees. Can you push down the outside edge of both feet, like this? Then I want you to bend one knee like this and just try and hover here. It's going to be quite hard on this thigh muscle here as you try and push your hips down towards the floor this way until you find a little stretch here. Shoulders down, just hold this here. Can you imagine pulling your feet towards each other? They're not going anywhere, they're just pulling on the floor, trying to get these groin muscles to kind of work together, and then come over to the other side and hang out here. Just trying to stay upright. And I want to see you feel where your limits are with this. Because it might be up here, you might not even be able to find the stretch here because you don't trust this thigh muscle, or maybe you're not flexible enough here to even find this thigh muscle really pulling on, or maybe you kind of roughly where I am, where nowhere near doing the side splits, but you can explore and hover around this and it's kind of taxing but not super hard. Pull your feet towards each other again, breathe, that's it. Then coming back up and then come into forward fold where your hands come all the way to the floor. Your hands can come forwards if it's a bit of a struggle to reach the floor, or they can come back if you're good with your hamstring flexibility. Then I want you to shuffle your feet just a tiny bit wider and try and do the same as we've just done again, except you've got your hands on the floor now and you should be able to feel like you can explore the stretch in this groin just a little bit more. Breathe, just hang out here and come across to the other side and breathe and hang out here. Toes down, maybe pull your feet towards each other just a bit if you can. Look for this little stretch in the groin here. And coming back up and back into your forward fold. Then I want you to see if you can just bounce between the two, where you kind of move your way across from side to side. Every time you come back up, you're in hamstring stretch, and then you drop down to the side, back up to hamstring stretch, and back down. You can walk your hands across as well if that feels nice. That's it. And then back to just hamstring stretch. Now I want you to do the same again, except I want you to travel across, so your hips stay low as you move your way across like this. That's it. Perfect. And then swivel your way around and drop this back knee. So ideally you're next to a sofa or something that can help you keep your balance. I want you to point your toes up and pull your toes back, looking for this little stretch in this calf muscle here. I want you to flip your bottom rib up and try and find hamstring stretch without making this come from your lower back. So you're almost trying to push your bum backwards and lift your chest up, and then bring your belly button forwards and down. And that's it. We're here. You've got this sofa or chair or something just to help you keep your balance. Just live in this stretch for a bit. Keep pulling your belly forwards and down. I did this with an online PT yesterday, and she's like, yeah, I can really feel that hamstring stretch. And she's been working with me for a long time. And she's a bit hypermobile, and I was like, yeah, but if you pushed your limit and let it come from your spine, what have you got? And she could get her elbows to come down to the floor here, like right flat to the floor, so her belly goes past her leg. But when she really focused in on locking everything in place, so this stretch wasn't coming from her back or anything, this hamstring was stretching here, and she could tell that she was kind of separating this out from every other thing going on. Not just trying to get as low to the floor as you can, which is why I'm after you knowing how to control your spine in these stretches, so that you don't just share the load between everything. Because your strongest parts, or your most flexible parts, will just do their strength or do their most flexible bit. And the bits in the middle and the weak links will just get missed out. You'll rotate your leg out of the way, or something will happen if you think about trying to get your hands to the floor, which is why I'm quite happy to use this sofa here. Right, now start driving your heel down and try and pull the floor towards you a little bit. You should be able to feel this pull on this hamstring. Just keep pulling, keep pulling, keep pulling. In 3, 2, 1. Sit up tall. See if you can tense your bum muscles. Then I want you to see if you can lift this foot. Pull your toes back. So toes pull right back towards you and hold. Coming out. Swap legs. So, this heel on here, pull the toes back and stretch. Keep flipping this bottom rib up. As you pull yourself forwards and down, flip this bottom rib up. Just see if you can stick in this hamstring stretch. There's so many variables. I'm always talking about exploration of poses kind of wins over just finding a pretty looking yoga pose. I want to know that you know the difference between your hips being here and your hips being here, and how that feels in the tissue you're supposed to be stretching. Breathe and pull toes back. And what I hope I bring to the table in these classes is how you can understand your own stuff. Because I've been to loads of fantastic yoga classes that the teacher's very observant and knows and just is gives people really good cues to get into the best version of the yoga pose, and that's great and it's lovely and it really works, and those classes I would absolutely go to them again. But I feel like the way I understand it and the way I want to put it to you is that I don't want you to need me to tell you whether or not you're doing it right. I want you to know yourself and feel yourself. So if I just in a yoga class go to someone and just be like, just shift your hips that way a little bit, lift this bit here, and then just give them a hands-on cue, which probably isn't happening for a long time yet, of like moving them around. How much have you actually learned from me doing that? As opposed to me saying, what does it feel like here? Is it pulling here? What happens? What does it feel like if you lift your chest? Can you still feel this here? Can you think about just your belly button coming forwards, but kind of leaving your chest back here? How does that feel? And this exploration of things, and there's no right or wrong answer. I'm not giving you a loaded question of like, how does this feel? I told you it was going to feel better. It's you being like, no, it's not there. It's not there. It's not there. It's here. That feels better actually. I feel like I understand it more. And then you win. Then you win at understanding your mobility. Okay, let's get into the hard work then. Drive your heel down now and almost pull the floor towards you. So you're trying to kind of drag this heel back. Keep pulling the toes back as well so your calf gets taken out of it. And pull forwards and down. And I did say we'll do some focused ankle work because I enjoy that so much. We'll get into that in a second. That's it. Yes. And then sit up, tense your bum muscles, then try and lift this foot. See if you can get some air time on it and feel this hip flexor. Keep lifting, going 3, 2, 1, and then coming up, back up onto your feet. So I've been very preoccupied with the gait of walking a lot recently because I've got a few clients that I help get back to walking after having a stroke. And that stuff's kind of important and hard, and the transition between from foot to foot, we sometimes get lost in our own habitual gait and how we walk and the shoes we wear and how that changes things. So I want you to put one foot forwards, one foot back, so your toe is in line with your heel, but you kind of stood on train tracks, so your feet are wide enough apart that you're not going to lose your balance. Then I want you to pull your feet towards each other and lock the back knee and bend the front knee. And then I want you to pull this heel as far forwards as you can and then drop it back down again. So we're trying to get ankle and foot to move here. So going from a locked knee here, bring it all the way forwards, locked knee, bring it all the way forwards. Keep your toes pushing down. Keep this going. So pushing big toes down. Keep this knee moving. So can you understand that what we're after here is this like transition from straight leg to bent leg, and I'm asking really, this is more about your toes than it is anything else. And then swap legs and try this here. And this isn't that hard, by the way. It's not particularly tiring or anything. It's just I want to get into your head how this transition works, because we're going to do more with it in a second. It is going to be a little bit harder and a little bit more taxing. Because the way we walk is different to the way we run, and I work with a lot of people running as well, and the fastest people have the best at controlling their ankles to hit the floor and spring them forwards. And it's not an articulation as such, it's a spring, it's a hard spring that hits the floor and just bounces straight back off, because so the ground force reaction time is less for you to be faster. If you think about a calf doing this, it's a slow movement to get full range. That's going to slow you down if you rely on this. You've got to be able to be fast and twitchy with the ankle and be able to hit the floor without much articulation. Okay, so I want you to see if you can put your left foot forwards. Let's go left foot. Pick your heel up and feel the pad of your foot. Maybe wave your knee side to side, so you can feel the pad of your foot. Your heel isn't that high, so you're not up on tiptoes like this. You can just push down. Can you then Bring yourself up and balance on that. Remember what I keep teaching you about balance is equilibrium, equal weight over the balance point. So when I lose it a little bit, I'm just trying to bring myself back to equilibrium and knowing that place. There we go. We're practicing this ability to stabilize your ankle and your foot. So with the pad of your foot on the floor, so make it heavy, spread the toes, push the toes down, heel up a little bit and see if you can balance on your forefoot. With a bent knee, feel the big toes holding you. That's it. There's a little bit of just knowing where equal balance is, where you can just find that little sweet spot that you've got equal weight over the balance point, and any variation on that, you know how to get back to that equal weight on the balance point. So then if we think about a classic yoga pose like tree pose, so we come back to left foot, think about what we've just done on the pad of our foot. We're going to use the whole of the sole of our foot with a little soft bend in this standing leg. Bring the sole of the foot onto your calf and reach your arms out and feel equilibrium. Hopefully you can get this and just own it. Pull this knee back, look for a little stretch here in the groin by tensing the bum muscles. When you push your leg into the other leg, so your foot into your leg and your leg into your foot, they're fighting against each other, it makes bum muscles tense and gives you this stable pelvis. Can you breathe, but just have a little bit of stability going on here. It doesn't need to be all on, it just needs to be on. Reach your arms out, and then maybe reach your arms all the way up. I want you to see if you've got a little bend in this standing leg, if you can explore it. If you've got a little bend in this standing leg and you're exploring this, you're also exploring your ankle because the sole of your foot is flat. This is what I mean about being able to bring yourself back to equilibrium, or even just travel in equilibrium. So right now I'm kind of traveling in equilibrium. I don't feel like I've lost any balance for bending my knee. I don't feel like I've gained any balance for letting it straighten up again. Yes. Okay, let's try this other leg. So spread the toes, push down the outside edge of this foot. Do a little bounce on this standing leg. Heel against your ankle, foot against the inside of your calf, and pull this back. Looking for a little stretch here in this groin because your pelvis is staying sturdy and you're using these bum muscles to pull this back, reach your arms out. See if you can breathe first. See if you've got balance here. Have you got balance reaching your arms up? Keep breathing and then see if you can explore this a little bit again, where you can bend your knee and straighten it up again. Bend your knee and straighten it up. Outside edge of your foot is pinned to the floor. That's it. Amazing. And then bring your arms down and come out of that like super gently. Fantastic. So let's keep on this theme of being upright and standing and the way your foot works in balance. I'm going to come to the edge of your sofa. If the arm of your chair is good for this, then that's fantastic. You bring your shin across the arm of your chair like this. If your chair isn't ideal, or if you're in the bedroom or something, a bed works fine. You just need to put your knee on the floor under a few cushions, or you might need to like put your trail leg right back behind you to be able to find this little stretch on here. For me, this is like the ideal height for me to stretch the outside of my hip. It's my favourite to do it standing like this because I've got way more control over all of the different things. I did it yesterday morning, in a yoga class, back on the floor again after 3 or 4 weeks of really focusing on this. I definitely still prefer this. I think I've gained range and gained control from doing this, but the floor still gets in my way, so that I can't have my spine like as natural as I have it here when I do this pose on the floor. And remember, I'm kind of flexible, so this works better for me. Okay, stick with this and just find this stretch down the outside of your hip. So maybe leaning forwards, Relax your jaw a little bit. Just keep breathing. Hinge forwards just a little bit more. Now I want you to start driving your heel and your knee down into the arm of the chair. Keep pushing, and maybe you can bend this back leg and drop your hips lower to find yourself even more in this stretch. Push your shin down some more. Breathe here. Keep pushing this shin down. And maybe fold all the way over. And standing back up, see if you can lift this shin. So hands either side of your thigh and see if you've got any air time. I do not. Maybe because I'm so short, maybe because I'm lacking hip strength here in this position. I'm trying to get this groin muscle to turn on. Keep lifting, keep lifting. 3, 2, 1, and drop and stretch. And coming out and swapping legs. So the shin comes across your sofa and just hang out here for a second. As it happens, this feels like a big stretch for me. Maybe find a little bit more space. Remember, exploration kind of wins for me. Moving around in these poses gets you to work out what it is you're working with. Shoulders down away from ears. Okay. Start pushing your shin down now. Load this up. So you're trying to make the muscles that we're stretching contract by pushing your shin down through the sofa. Keep driving down, then coming upright, stand up tall, and try and get some kind of lift from this hip. I've got nothing. I've connected, but there's no way I'm ever going to get this foot to lift anytime soon. Keep lifting, keep lifting. Going 3, 2, 1, and drop and stretch. Fantastic. And then coming out, let's go through a little bit of shoulder and a bit of neck stuff. So I'm going to come a bit closer to the camera so you can really see how wild my hair is. Lock your elbows out, pull your shoulders down, shoulders forwards, shoulders up, shoulders back, shoulders down. I want you to keep your elbows really still, not really still, really straight. And keep your hands in line with your pockets. So shoulders go up, back, down, forwards, up, back, down, forwards. It might be a bit clicky, as long as there's no pain. Little clicks aren't anything too much to worry about, but just trying to get some end range control from all these muscles around your shoulder blades. Couple more now. Perfect. Then we'll do a bit of neck, side to side. So you're just pulling ear to shoulder, ear to shoulder. Doing this, recording this is better than even in the mirror, especially if you do it from behind, because you'll see all of the little bits that you're like, I'll just help here a bit, I'll just help here a little bit. And you just start adapting to making this work without your neck having to work. What I want is you to learn how to expand the range, not the range so much, not after flexibility from your neck. I just have to control over the bits that you've got. And I want you to hold it on one side and just rotate. So chin goes up, chin comes down. Remember that any vulnerability that you feel is real. So So you need to back away, even if you're not feeling any stretch, because I'm after a stretch here while this neck moves. If there's no stretch, it doesn't matter, as long as you're just working with what you've got already, and then we'll slowly persuade this tissue to just get a bit better. Let's try the other side. Lengthen this neck. That's it. Work out some breathing as well. I've been doing this pretty consistently every day for the last week or so, and doing it now I feel like super different. Feels much quieter. There's not as many little clicks or grindy bits or anything in my neck. I think I'm just much happier because I've put that little bit of practice in to try and make that stuff work nice. Okay, so sitting up tall, so flip this bottom rib up, pick your shoulders up and then let them soften down. Relax your jaw, let your arms go heavy. Push your belly out to breathe in. Draw your belly in to breathe out. See if you can relax your jaw. Just get hold of this breathing. And bring palms together. Thumbs to forehead and tuck your chin and roll forwards. Namaste. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. That's super fun. Always good for me as well as for you, but always let me know what it is that you've got going on. Let me know what you're working with anything, whether you want to do more balance, more strength, more even hand balances we can do. We do a bit of crow pose or anything like that. We'll keep it going. Maybe next time you see me I won't look quite as homeless because the barbers are now open. We can now get rid of this, which will be very nice for me. All right, enjoy the rest of your day. I appreciate you all. I'll see you soon. Bye.